I'm hurting, and I'm hurting bad. I bought some crypto, and I bought bad. Do you like the way I rhyme bad with bad? That's like the sign of today's music. Anyway, here's how badly I've done on some of these coins, just to let you know that it's not all, champagne kisses, rosy baskets, little kittens. So when I bought DOT, I think I bought 0.5, like half a Bitcoin of that. I think I bought, yeah. Usually I buy in halves or ones or 0.1s, right? So I would have I probably bought one of that, right? And I'm down half a Bitcoin. I probably bought half a Bitcoin of that and I'm down halfway. I most likely bought half a Bitcoin of that and I'm down more than halfway. I'm almost certain I bought half a Bitcoin of that and I'm down to 0.146. So, and this one is the biggest killer. This one here I made as much on as I lost as much on as I made on this other exchange. What the hell was it again? On Liquid. Celsius. Oh, look at that. It went up again. So I actually took profit on this just now. I took just my last little bit out of it. It could have another little leg up to go. It's just sometimes not worth hanging on, because I think it's probably going to run out of steam now. My friend did some TA on it. But so this one made whopping stupid gains for me. I was in way down here somewhere. It was like 7x when I sold out, and then it kept on going up more. Yeah, so I sold the last 20% out just now, and I used it to buy Uniswap. But so right now I'm bleeding out hard, right? And this is what happens sometimes. You end up sometimes 30% down or even more, or even, yeah, you even end up with half or even less than half what you had in before, right? And then the market recovers again. As long as you didn't sell back into Bitcoin, lock in your losses, you'll be fine unless you bought shit coins. But what do you do if you buy a coin that's a dead coin? Let's say XRP. Well, there's a way around this. I've covered it a couple of years ago. What you would do is you would go into your trusty coin market cap, or I've been looking at 1 inch and seeing it compared to Unilayer. And what you would do is you try to look around for coins that, and this is going to be a painstaking process, right? So if you bought that garbage there that I've been telling people not to buy for years, and let's say, for example, you had bought, I don't know, that little pump there. So you had bought it. I'm just going to do it in dollars because I can't work out the zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So 3,300 satoshis, right? And now it's sitting at 70 satoshis, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think it's 70 satoshis. It's well, let me just check up here. Oh, sorry, 700 satoshis. All right. So you're down big time. What you can do is just look for something that's got similar losses. It sounds quite obvious, but look for things that have got similar losses, percentage-wise. They will exist. And by the way, they could exist at the very bottom end. See this rank number 5 here? What you might find, let me just think now. I was looking at one before that had a very tiny... 1 second. There's the example I was looking for. So you look at something that is, from a Satoshi point of view, is very, very low. This one here is 17 Satoshis. I just bought it 18. Oh, there you go. It's back up at 18 again. I just bought it 18. And, you know, if that moves up to, let's say 30, which it could easily, then you've already made back your losses than what you did not the coin. So what you sometimes got to do is to say, look, I'm going to accept this. I'm not going to hold down the floor, because there's no pride in that. There's no honor badge that you get for holding a coin down to the floor. Don't buy into this whole bullshit, right? There's a saying that they say, the market owes you nothing, and you owe the market nothing as well. That's another thing, right? So don't hold on to something. Remember, this is investment. You should be trying to make more Bitcoin. You shouldn't be trying to validate someone's company, because the reality is they just want you to pump as much money into it so they can sell their coin, right? So don't get, what's the word? Emotionally attached, and don't get loyal unless it's your friend's company. And even then, it's business is business. You need to just think about getting back what you put in. The people are out there just try to get as much stuff as you can. So this is what I'm doing at the moment. One of the things I'm actually buying. Another one is VidT. Now see, before we get off this, I hate counting zeros in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 100 Satoshis from current 18. So you could look at quite a fairly easy 5x from this, and that you see when you're dealing with these smaller market cap coins, or even smaller Satoshi coins, even if the market cap's high because there's a lot of money, that small Satoshi difference makes a big percentage difference, and that's all you care about, right? So that's just one thing you could go for there to make back your XRP losses if you were, shall we say, foolish enough to buy XRP. Right, so this one here, 1,908, very low against Bitcoin right here. Some good pattern in here. Looks like it can go up soon. Volume's starting to pick up a little bit. You've had little influxes in volume here. It died off there and there. Pity I didn't buy in here, but anyway I didn't. But it's still 18 Satoshis. If I bought in there, oh, Satoshi wise it was still the same, it hadn't changed. Well, that's another thing to look at as well. Sometimes you're just looking at the fluctuation in USD value because it's moved along with Bitcoin. All you care about is the Bitcoin value. You don't care about the dollar value. Sometimes it's worth actually clicking these off so that you only see against the Bitcoin value, because that's all that really matters. So you look at it that way, it starts to get a little bit more attractive to dip into. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Just a really short video. I know a lot of people will be hurting like I am. I'm hurting bad. But, you know, we've got another 5 months maybe to make bank in altcoins, and longer if you want to spend the whole year playing that market, but it'll be risky. You'd be better off being in. What my plan is, just let me tell you quickly, is I want to be back in mostly Bitcoin and some Ethereum, but not as heavy as I used to be. Obviously I probably had 10% Ethereum before. Usually when I have Ethereum, probably about 10% of my portfolio was Ethereum. I won't be doing that anymore. It will be split between, I'll probably say 80, still try to do 80% Bitcoin, still try to hold on to a few alts, just a little bit of the profit from each of these ones that I like, Energy Web Token, Chainlink and all those sort of ones. But for the most part, I want to be in Cardano. This is longer term. After you make your profit, maybe even sell out of them when they're at the top, and then buy a little bit again just before you decide, right, that's it, I'm back to hodl mode now. And I'll want to be in, yeah, maybe a little bit of Zilliqa, a little bit of Digibyte. I have to say I'm going off Digibyte a bit. That's the thing. See, a project can be as good as you want it to be, but if it doesn't gain traction, it should, and it probably will. But if it continues to be unrecognized, you know, like your Betamax tape, you know, being better than VHS, then there's no point flogging a dead horse. There's no point being emotional about it. Just reduce the amount that you hold of it, you know. By the way, I'm doing this with Litecoin. So I've had Litecoin I've held for a long time. I always probably got about 40, maybe not even that, maybe 30% of what I used to have, right? I sold out before when it went up. Last time I had a bit of a pump, kept about 40. Probably shouldn't have done that. I hit the floor after that. Went down to about $50. And I've kept Dash for a long time. I've kept, some of these privacy coins. I had a big, I lost 40 bloody Monero. That really annoyed the shit out of me because of a crappy wallet by a company called mymonero.com. It gives you, it gave me a seed phrase that doesn't work. So as simple as that. And mind you, I should have tested it first. That's another thing, It just, obviously, the one time in my life I didn't test a seed phrase, that's the time the seed phrase doesn't work to restore the wallet. It's just typical, isn't it? But anyway, Zcash, things like that. To be honest with you, I think that when it really comes down to it, knowing where Bitcoin's going to go and knowing how close we are to that flippening time. When I say flippening, I'm not talking about Litecoin overtaking XRP or something like that. I'm talking about within 5 years possibly of Bitcoin overtaking every fiat currency, that flippening. And probably within 5 years of Bitcoin overtaking every company in the NASDAQ. So it's not worth playing too close to the water's edge, in my opinion. I'll be trying to head back to HODL mode as soon as possible. As I say, mostly Bitcoin. I think the most promising project long term to take the load of what the world has to stick on top of it is Cardano, right? Obviously, there's upsides to Zilliqa as well. Now, obviously, with Zilliqa and the relationship with Ethereum, it's going to yield big things. And people would say, oh well, hang on, Ethereum 2.0 a lot faster. I think they made a big screw up with the staking. If you look at the staking on Ethereum, it's going to be a 2-year staking period. That's horrendously long. Only people are going to go for that is people who want to hold and not touch ever. And most of the volume is trading. So most of the volume is not hodling So that's my opinion anyway. It's one man's opinion. I might be wrong. If I was locked into a coin for 2 years and watching the price go up and thinking, oh my god, if it goes back down, oh look, I just missed out on a 50x gain, because you never know what's going to happen. It's the whole market's only been here for 11 years, whereas Zilliqa, I would actually see that if there's a lot more linkage between Zilliqa and Ethereum, for example, being able to take ERC20 contracts over to the ZRC, that could be bigger for Zilliqa than it is for Ethereum as far as the gain from that relationship. And that's why I'd probably be staying a little bit more in Zilliqa than I would be in Ethereum. Also because the staking's it took me about 2 weeks to unstake my money last time. I'm a little bit nervous at that, so I hold quite a lot of Zilliqa and it went up. It's probably down about 30% to what it was its recent high. I think it's about 30% down. Obviously I couldn't sell out and then buy again because I was locked in. So the gains I could have made by shorting that, effectively shorting it, would have been more than what I probably made staking. So if I'm going to be active in trading in the next few months, let's say 6 months, it's probably better not to stake. I would say the same is true for possibly Coty. I don't know if you can stake that. I think that's one of the stake. I'm trying to remember what the staking ones are. And Polkadot, someone was telling me today you can stake that, but it's like a 30-day lock-in. Cardano, yeah, you make less money, but I use the Adalite wallet to do staking, and they just use their normal staking pools. That's all you can do through their wallet. I haven't bothered installing the Daedalus wallet yet for Cardano, and yeah, so I'm missing out maybe 2% profit margin, maybe a little bit more, but I'm still making about 5% on the Adalite. And I can unstake anytime. Well, it's not really unstaking, it's just delegation. You just undelegate. As soon as you send your money out, that's it, I'm done. So I think the freedom of course, the third generation network speed, which Ethereum 2.0 will be, I think, trying to compete with. They've got clean code. It's one of the Ethereum founders that, Charles Hoskins, that came up with that company, and IOHK. They've done it right from the ground up. One of the top guy from Singularity Net, Ben Gertzel, he was commending it on its clean code. It's you got one of the world's top artificial general intelligence coders saying that the code is something of beauty. You've got to take notice of that. So I think that Cardano is gonna blitz it along with these other ones. I think Digibyte will make background again. Again, Digibyte being probably the most perfect project when it comes to decentralization, because it has 5 encryption protocols. Therefore, it makes mining open to people who have ASIC miners, who have GPU miners, or who just want to mine using an old server or a PC, right? So CPU mining, and it's it doesn't really have a head. What's the name again? He's not really a CEO as such. There's no head to the company, kind of like Bitcoin is. Although Jared Tate was the main guy for that. Same as Charlie Lee was the main guy for Litecoin. The way that Charlie Lee moved on, I can't stand the way he did that. It's gonna crash. I can never get over that one. So yeah, I'll probably be getting rid of Litecoin or reducing down to maybe a quarter of what I've got now. Just if it peaks a little bit, I'll probably do the same with Dash. I'm just seeing them as a higher risk long hold than they used to be. There's just too many new projects out. You're talking 8,000 now on the market cap, on the CoinMarketCap website. Most of them will die, just like years ago when there was 3,500 on there, most of which aren't even around anymore. The new ones come in, most of the new ones will die, but there's also a whole handful of new projects. You look in the top 10 or even the top 100, that list shuffles quite a lot. I imagine the XRP is going to disappear from it. Hopefully it will disappear for good. I think XLM will take its place. Of course, there's a bit of linkage between those two companies in the first place, besides the fact that it was a forked version of XRP without the Genesis block issues. There was a corruption issue, I think it was, or the first miners. There's something about they lost the first blocks basically for the Genesis blocks when you're first mining. Well, when you do a pre-mine on a minted coin or digital fiat currency, because that's what XRP is. For anyone who doesn't quite understand crypto properly. So yeah, there was really no advantage to it. A lot of the advantage to buying it was only to do with speculatory gain. There was nothing they could really outsmart any other players in the market with. So yeah, good luck to you if you got out of that one. And yeah, you could make gains again because things will fluctuate. But why mess around with something that has such high risk, that is really just pumped up by fanboys the whole time? It's just not worth it. Not when there's coins like this sitting down here. You know what I mean? They can that have stuff going on. They can make massive gains, and they might only be short term. So get out of them again. But I'm going to say altcoin market between now and, I'm going to say, play it safe. May definitely try not leave it later than June to get back in the Bitcoin market. Be in there. Hold, maybe make small swing trades, but for the most part, just hold. The reality is, in most cases, even though I'm telling you this, most people will always do better. Even myself, long term, most likely, if I had been able to buy more in the USA, if I hadn't had my bank constantly decline transactions to spend my money on buying Bitcoin, and just accumulate it, I'd be a lot better off. I'll be honest with you now. So it kind of sucks I had to do things the way I did. The same will be true for almost everyone out there. This is a predatory marketplace, and the reality is, if you just keep on buying the main horses, which are obviously Bitcoin, but to a lesser degree, because things aren't perfectly sure with Ethereum. Don't just think it's going to be there forever. It doesn't necessarily mean so. These blockchains are all open source. They can be copied very easily. People have tried to prove this point with Bitcoin. It didn't work because it's a mineable token. It'll probably be just as difficult with Ethereum because the money that's gone into mine that. But for some of these token ones, beware. Even I'd say so far as things like Chainlink. Don't just think because one company came up with a solution that's going to be technology that can't be copied or bettered. To using decentralized oracles, things like that, or that their token is actually has any utility. Because they have a token there to raise money doesn't mean it's any good for anything. You need to really look at use cases. This is something where I think people will go wrong when they don't understand. This is why at the end of every altcoin season there's this big massive drop. It's because the reality is that utility is not there, and Bitcoin still does have utility above anything else, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not. Go argue with its market cap, go argue with its dominance. In the worst case scenario, its dominance might go down to 40 or 50, or it's still one coin against a whole market of thousands, and it's keeping that position against all of them. So yeah, get back to it. What I'll be doing is I'll probably be taking some profit from Bitcoin in the end of 2021 this year. But then other than that, staying in for the long term, keeping some for, who knows, other generations or whatever it might be, or to help, I don't know, to help buy weapons to save people from the alien invasion, whatever it is, I don't know. But yeah, there's at some stage you should actually take profit. Here's why. You never know whether, it's almost certain that Bitcoin wasn't started by some kind of very, very deep state, CIA, whatever it is, but you never know. Everything always has to be on the table. You also never know of you never know what the world's going to bring in the future. You never know if, for example, they always said that the internet will stay up because the banks need it to be up. Well, what about when the banks all crash and they don't need it to be up anymore? Because the thing is, what this whole game, this another thing is, cryptocurrency might just be another way. It was a way to unenslave mankind, but the problem is, mankind being mankind, most of mankind is dumb as fuck. So they'll never take an opportunity. Sure, likely story. Do you know the amount of people who I told to buy Bitcoin, even as low as $20? Even below $100, anywhere between 10 and $100, because I wasn't really talking about it when I first saw it, but I was talking about it soon after, and people just didn't buy. And even at $100, after it had been to 1,200 and stuff, and coming back down to 100, I'm telling people about it. Then I was like, sure, man. As if you're trying to sell them something that belongs to you, like I'm trying to sell them a timeshare. That is how people used to speak to me, right? So the reality is, mankind could have set themselves free by everyone jumping on board in Bitcoin and say, look, we don't see your money as valuable anymore. We outnumber you. But that's not what happened, and it never was going to happen, because people are too fucking stupid and people won't stand together. So the reality is, what did happen and what is happening is the likes of your Grayscales and JP Morgans of the world and PayPals are buying it all up like there's no tomorrow. They're moving to an asset class which is going to increase in value, while the asset class that most of you are stuck in, most people out there, or hopefully not most of you, but most people out there, is going to just turn to shit. It's going to hit the floor. It's going to crumble like XRP. But a lot worse. XRP will be worth way more than the dollar later in the future. Even when it's dead, it's still going to be, it'll probably back down a number of 8,000 or 80,000 in the future, but it'll still be trading like $1 to $5, one XRP to $5. So you'll still do pretty well there if you're still bothered about the value of the dollar or the euro or any other currency out there. So that's about that. Yeah, another thing, of course, is we don't know what the world brings by the way of war, the way of control. It could just be shut the internet down for certain countries like New Zealand, highly controlled countries that we're bringing out a new internet that only passes traffic in this way. You need to buy new devices, therefore it's incompatible with I'm kidding. I'm just bringing out far-fetched possibilities, but you never know what happens. We never knew that this whole planet would be locked down the way it is right now. So I mean, don't rule out anything. That's all I'm saying. And also remember that you could die tomorrow, or the day after. So don't go on forever looking at your money and saying, "Well, I've made 100x. Cool." Take some profit, because you need to treat yourself. You need to make yourself happy. Money's there to make your life better. It's there to a few things: happiness, freedom, security, right? Just take out little bits here and there. I know people will say I'm totally wrong for saying this, because Bitcoin's just going to go up to the moon. So it does. If it does, whatever. But if everyone just held onto it and did nothing with it, if you didn't actually use it, the value wouldn't go up, because it's not being utilized. It takes people to both utilize it and hold it, and that's why you should utilize some, hold some. And also, it's not being greedy. And the thing that sucks is that some of the people like the Winklevoss twins and whoever else, and that guy, Panachati, whatever his name is, the guy from Facebook, the Indian guy. I think they're being greedy. They're trying to rule the whole bloody world. But I mean, unless that's the sort of person you want to be, whatever. But I would say just, invest, get ahead, get your leg up to do something in life that you love and you enjoy, rather than just being a control freak like every other motherfucker out there. Yeah. All right, I'll leave it at that. A little buy there.